Shoulders today. Yesterday was arms. Probably going to start off with some warm-ups, some stretching. Then I usually like to do, anytime I work out, I like to do my dumbbell exercises first. In my mind, it's just that with the dumbbells, there's more of an opportunity, and I believe, to hurt yourself just because of having, a little bit less control over each one. Whereas opposed to a barbell, if your less dominant hand starts to get a little bit tired, or your arm, whatever you're working, starts to get tired, you can try and use the other arm to help compensate it a little bit more, push yourself out of the rep and re-rack the weight. Whereas, with dumbbells, the best you're looking at is just tossing it off, which, I mean, is a completely viable way of doing it. It's just, it probably completely unnecessary. It's just, in my mind, that's what I do. Dumbbells first. Then if I'm going to do any sort of barbell work, I'll do barbells. And then after that, I go to cable and machine. As I already mentioned in my day one video, I overtrain like crazy. I basically just try and hit as many exercises as I can physically get out of myself, with trying to get, minimum of 3 sets. I'll be honest, there's some weeks that I'll do, 6, 7, maybe even 8 sets of one exercise, just because, for shoulders, for example, shoulder press. I mean, there's a bunch of variations of a shoulder press, different ways you can do it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a shoulder press. You've got the front and lateral raises, you've got the rear flies for your rear delts. But at least for the presses, it's just a variation. Dumbbell press, barbell press. You got the Arnold presses, and you got you can play with the inclines on it. There's a lot of people are, saying you don't want to do perfectly straight up and down, like seated shoulder press. Like you want a slight decline in your seat. Obviously not so much that you're looking at an incline bench press, but I do like one notch back, so it's not straight up and down. I just have a slight rest, because the way it was explained to me is that it helps with your shoulders and your arms being able to keep in front of your shoulders that way. It's not so much of an awkward angle, and I believe it. I have noticed that I'm able to push a little bit harder doing it that way. So I think that there's some merit to that. My plan right now is probably do at least 4 sets of shoulder press. Then I'll probably go over to so my gym's got 2 squat racks. One's like a full squat rack. The other one's kind of like it's a squat rack, but it's a little bit more like a jerry-rigged one. I mean, it still fully functions as a squat rack, but there's almost nobody ever there squatting. At least that I've seen, very, very rarely. So I use the little bit lesser nice one, I guess, for lack of a better term. I'll go over there and do it for shoulder presses, because they've got different notches, so you can rest the barbell back at like a varying heights, whatever's best for you. So I'll probably do some dumbbell presses, shoulder presses, some barbell shoulder press. I've been really liking, so when I first was doing it for the front raises and lateral raises, I was doing dumbbell raises, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know, I feel like I get much more fatigued, and I have difficulty. I just feel like I end up getting less work out of it. I think it's definitely making me tired, but shoulders don't feel like they're getting much. It just seems like I'm just, working. Like I'm just taxing the system, really. Whereas I switched recently to doing cable front and cable lateral raises, and I'm able to kind of adjust my stance a little bit and try and do my best to keep the rest of my body as straight and fixed as possible, to really just kind of isolate the movement to my shoulders. And it definitely, like, my shoulders definitely feel it a lot more that way. So I really have enjoyed it, and since have started doing it. I mean, I'm sure, I know I'm not the only one that thinks this. Machines, I think, are the best thing to save for last, because with the way they're set up is you really, unless you're doing something gnarly, you really can't hurt yourself too much with a machine. It's, once you put it back in the resting position, I mean, it's locked and fixed in that position. So you can kind of afford to get a little bit squirrelier with a machine than you can, like, if you were running just a dumbbell or a barbell, because if you say for a flat bench, if you struggle to get the weight back up, well, then you're in a little bit of an awkward position. I mean, there's ways to get out of it, but it's to me, do it when you're the freshest. Do the sketchiest stuff when you're fresh. I mean, obviously you don't want to be doing a bunch of sketchy shit, period. But if you get into the gym and you're looking at an exercise that maybe you haven't done a lot of, or maybe you've done a lot of, but just the weight you're at, it's kind of getting sketchy. You know what I mean? Obviously I'm not pushing that much weight myself, but some of the smaller guys I see, they'll plate after plate loaded up, and I'm just sitting there like, man, that's badass. That's badass to be able to push all that. But just be careful, because it don't take much for that. I've seen a lot of the videos recently of others dropping the bar on their chest, and that does not look like a good time. So anyway, I do the sketchiest lifts I have in my routine, freshest. So I warm up and go straight into my sketchy stuff, and then as the workout progresses, as I start getting into my overtraining period, the part of the workout where I really should probably be still lifting, I resort to cable and machine work, because I have less of a chance. There's still always the chance that you can hurt yourself, but there's much less of a chance of doing it, when you've got all those safety guards in place, So probably some dumbbell shoulder press. Sometimes I like to do the dumbbell shoulder press, and then when I start to fatigue, I'll back off the weight a little bit, and then I'll go into an Arnold press. I don't know how much more efficient an Arnold press is. I just remember I seen a video of, I think it was Arnold doing them, and I was like, man, that looks really, like, I like that. Like, that looks like you're getting a lot more work done. But again, I mean, that could be, like I was saying, with the lateral and front raises, that could just be you're just taxing your system at that point. I don't know enough about it, but all I know is sometimes I enjoy to mix them into my workout. So it's possible I might do some shoulder raises, and then dumbbell shoulder press, and do some dumbbell Arnold presses. If not, I'll go dumbbell shoulder press and then into a barbell shoulder press, which, I mean, it really is basically the same workout. Your hands are a little bit more of a fixed position, less potential for your form to be a little bit less funky that way. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can definitely end up, one hand a couple inches or half a foot higher than the other if you're struggling. But for the most part, you can kind of keep them uniform and kind of do your best to keep the same amount of work being put in on both sides of the bar. Dumbbell shoulder press, barbell shoulder press. Then I'll switch for shoulders at least. Like I said, if you guys watched my first video, I hate shoulder day. But it's what it is. You know, it's one of my days, so I'll go into the cable. I do a cable lateral raise, and then I superset it with a cable front raise. My shoulders definitely are burning after I complete the superset of doing that, but I like it. It seems like just enough work that I can manage to push through. You know, anywhere from 12 to 15 reps pretty reliably, supersetting them like that. You know, I'll do both arms on, both arms individually. I'll do lateral raises, and I'll switch. And so basically, where I started, left arm, right arm lateral, then I'll go back to left arm for the front, and then right arm front. So it's, you know, that each arm has that brief window of rest where I'm working the other arm before I switch back to the other exercise, and then go back to working that arm again. So it's not really a rest period, but I mean it's a little brief break. So then after that, then machines, machine rear delt flies. I try and really work on keeping my concentrics, my lowering of the weight as slow as I can. I watch a lot of Renaissance periodization. Dr. Mike, I can't remember his last name exactly. Dr. Mike on there. He's a smart guy. He's funny. Sometimes he gets a little goofy and a little bit worked up about stuff, but it's a good way to kill some time and learn some stuff, you know. Definitely not the only guy I watch. I watch a lot of stuff, but he's all about that really slow concentric, the lowering of the weight. He does a lot of that hypertrophy workouts and routines. And again, you know, I'm all focusing on weight loss, not exactly on muscle building or anything like that. I just, in my free time, I enjoy watching a lot of like bodybuilding content. I've found personally that it jives a lot with the way I kind of like to go about thinking about it when I'm dieting and exercising. Because, you know, as funny as it sounds, you know, somebody who's got a lot of body fat and bodybuilders sometimes in the year have a lot in common. You know, bodybuilders, when they're going to get ready, when they go on their preps, like the main focus of the whole deal is to get every bit of that body fat you can off you. You know, they're trying to get quote unquote shredded. They're trying to, you want to see every little muscle strand and fiber. You know, they want to look as good as possible when they get on stage. And, you know, for bigger people, you know, it may not be to the same extent, but that's the name of the game, baby. We're trying to get the weight off as well, the body fat, you know. If we can, you know, see some of the things that these guys that, you know, they do it professionally. You know, it's how these guys make a living. You know, bulking up, putting on the weight for the muscle building, which, I mean, shit, some of us, we've been bulking our whole lives. But, you know, the cutting period, you know, that for a lot of the times is what I like to, in my free time, I'll watch, you know, whenever I'm eating or I've got a little bit of free time throughout the day, I'll watch some bodybuilding. I enjoy the Muscles and Strength page. They've got a lot of good content about full day of eating and grocery hauls and stuff like that, which I love. That's part of the reason why I wanted to start making these videos, is because I found myself, I was like, man, I really like what these guys do, and I like the content they put out. And, you know, there's definitely a lot of people out there doing stuff like that, but I don't think there's that many people, or at least I haven't been able to find too many, where it's the same sort of setup, dialogue, conversation, but in more of a weight loss perspective. You know, like it's, you know, I want to do it where it's a big guy trying to talk to y'all about what is going on in my head, what my goals are, how my progress is going, and in a weight loss context. So I think that is all I have for today. Video 2 for day 2. Well, actually, it's video 3. So for day 1, I had the pre-workout, post-workout videos. It's taken me forever to get them uploaded. I have no experience doing any of this, so I'm just kind of going as I go. Hopefully I'll be able to start learning stuff here and there and make these videos a little bit better quality or content for folks. But for now, this is what I got. So I may make a video for my post-workout this evening when I go to leave. I'm not sure if I'll have too much to talk about, but we'll see what happens. Y'all have a good day. Like, comment, subscribe. Check me out on TikTok. I've got some of my clips kind of cut into individual little segments on there. And if you're on TikTok, check me out on YouTube. I'm trying to post the full content on there. And like I said, I hope somebody enjoys this. Y'all have a good day.